Hi guys, Tanya here. Today we are going to do another art journal spread. Yay, art journal. I'm going to feature Seth Apter. So he is a creator with a different style. So we did a couple Tracy Scott. You'll see a lot of her, but he has more of a grungy style, and he has some new stamps out that I love. So his new stamps are these. So this is ESA 18 PaperArtsy. So they're really background textures. They create a lot of texture in his background. Here is ESA 20. I don't know where 19 went, but 20. I'm gonna use, I love these squares and this texture. And then ESA 21, so I'm gonna spell a word. So the title of my journal page is gonna be spelled out. That is going to be a surprise when we get there. But isn't that beautiful? ESA 21, it's all sketchy. Then I pulled some of his other ones, ESA 13. Here's some more of that texture. I love his circles. So just to combine, so if I have squares, right, that go with the background, I want to add a little bit of a different shape. So I'm going to add that maybe. And then this one, ESA 14, it's amazing. Like, I just love this texture here with those stamps. Okay, so I pulled those. We're gonna use some of that. And then, surprise, surprise, we're gonna use some PaperArtsy paints. And I pulled, so it's gonna be a muted color that you guys, that are not typical. I've been doing bright colors, so these are just some colors I pulled. I don't know if I'm gonna use them all, but I pulled them anyway. So we have Eggshell, Gold Rush, Zucchini, Niagra Falls, London Night, and Squid Ink. So kind of a light to a darker paint colors. So this is Fresco finish chalk acrylics, my favorite paint to use in art journals. It dries really fast. Some of them, these particular ones are very opaque, so it works really well with this technique, and kind of a muted, kind of grungy technique. Then I have my Brayer, so I'm going to show you a really quick background that we learned from Seth at Creativation. So I'm going to show you how to use a Brayer, your craft mat. It's going to be really quick. And I pulled some Archival inks because we're going to need to ink the stamps that I showed you. So I just pulled, I have Potting Soil and Jet Black. And then I also pulled the Archival ink Distress. So my friend Tim put out a set of his distress colors in Archival ink. So we have a Hickory Smoke and a Vintage Photo. So this is more of an orangey kind of a brown, but that helps with the background. And I pulled out pens, so pen work, right? White pen, this is a Signo Gel White Pen, and this is a Fude Ball 1.5. So this is India ink, it dries permanent. I also have a thick gel medium because we are going to add texture. Okay, so this is some texture, just some cheesecloth that I have. And this is canvas that I cut out of a Dina Wakley journal. So I'm gonna put that on my art journal as part of my title, so I have to glue it on with my thick gel medium. I also have a stamping tool thing for the stamps. Tool thing. And then I have this Wendy Vecchi Make Art magnet kind of stamping station. So she has two of them. This is the smaller size. There's a bigger size, 12 by 12. They come with magnets, like really strong magnets to hold if you're making art, right? If you're making a card and you want to hold it while you're blending. It comes with like a magnet ruler, or she has a stamp positioner. I use it for that, but I also use it as a background in my journal. So if I'm stamping an image in my journal, and if I have pages kind of in the back, it doesn't have like a really flat page, this helps me with that heavy surface because it's metal and it's magnet. So I'm going to use that as well. All right, so let's get started. So the technique that Seth uses, that we're going to use today, is he takes a small amount of his paint and he puts it on a craft mat with a brayer and just kind of adds a background here. It makes a really fast and easy background. With all these colors, he says, so the technique is you start with like a dark color and then a light color and then a dark color and then a light color. And you just kind of add that background and you can add layers on top of it. So when you end, you're ending with that highlight color. So the highlight color that I picked is the Eggshell color because that's a lighter color. But you don't want to go just dark to light because that creates kind of that fake background. You just want to do a different texture background. So you're going to see me use a dark and a light, dark and light. Okay. So let's start with, how about London Night? So I'm just going to put a little bit on my craft mat. Remember, less is more when you're adding paint. You can always add more, but it's hard to take it off. So this is opaque paint. You can cover it up if you don't like it. But if you start with a lighter or a lesser of a layer the first time, then you can always add more. Okay, so I just put a little bit of paint here. And on my brayer, if I just go back and forth, I'm only gonna get paint on one little side of the thing, and then you're gonna have kind of splotches on here. That's okay if that's the background that you want. But I'm going to roll it on all of the side here. I'm gonna get a good amount of that paint on here. And I'm just gonna touch my background. Okay, so I don't care that I'm not painting all of it. I don't care about those edges because we can cover it up. And this is a Diane Reevely journal. I don't know if I said that. 9x12, her Dylusions journal. This is just a Ranger brayer. You can use any brayer. It has a little kickstand if you want to hold it there. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit more paint. I'm going to go the other way. Okay, so I'm just adding a background. Now, I'm not going to necessarily wipe off my mat because I'm gonna blend these colors anyway, and it's okay, right? I have a really thin layer here. If you put too much paint on there and you don't want it to blend as much, it won't blend much on the page because this is already like almost dry because that's the glory of the paint. But I'm not going to wipe it off my craft mat. So I'm going to add a little bit of Gold Rush. And I'm just going to lightly touch, right? I'm just going to add a little bit. If I like uber painted it, I'm gonna cover up some of that amazing paint color. Okay, so I did a dark and then a light. Okay, now I'm gonna go in with another darkish. I don't know if that was Gold Rush. Now I'm gonna do Zucchini. I know Zucchini's not really dark, but it's a different color. Add a little bit of paint. Now, the more highlights that you build, the less paint that you need, okay? So if I use the same amount of paint every time, I'm going to cover up that greatness that I did. So, okay. So you can see those layers keep building. This little edge right here. And I'm gonna add some blue. This is the Niagara Falls. And these colors I picked are kind of the same tone-ish. Okay, so just a little bit of that purple. Or purple. That's not purple, that blue. Okay, so now I'm gonna add a little more of that purpley because I've lost some of that color. Just a little tiny bit more. Right there, right there. Bring back some of that dark color. Okay, so kind of cool background already. Pretty dang cool. Okay, now I'm gonna add the Eggshell. So it's really gonna pop because it's a light color. and just a touch. So just a little bit of a touch. Now the eggshell is not a white, it's just a light. Because I think if I added a white, it would take away from that color. Okay. What do we think? I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Yeah, okay, I like it. So your brayer, you could take just a baby wipe if you want. If you notice, the brayer is normally red, that's the color of it, and I'm not really uber concerned about the paint that's on my brayer. And I'm not going to use my craft mat anymore, so I can wipe that off and scrape it off later. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is the background. So while I talk through this is drying, and by the time, you can take your heat gun if you want to, but I don't need to because I'm going to talk for a little bit. So for my title, I don't know, some of you may know about Allie Edwards. So she has a one little word. It's a program every year that you have to select a word. She has prompts every month. This year she's doing, I think, 2 prompts, and she has guest speakers come in and talk about their word and how they put together a book. So it really is a journey throughout the entire year. Once you select a word, and really be thoughtful about how that word is in your life, and how to keep bringing that word up for whatever reason. If you need to process something, if you're, going through stuff. So my word is enough. So many of us, especially this last year, it's really hard to make it through life. Like, you have kids, you have, you're in COVID, we're all working from home, you can't go out and be with your friends, we can't go to crops, you can't take classes from Tanya. So sometimes you're at home and you're like, oh my God, like, we're just really struggling. So I chose the word enough because I am enough. I am enough. No matter how much I'm doing, it's enough. And even if, right, you think about, well, I should be cleaning my house, I should be saving my money, I should be spending more time with my family, I woulda, coulda, shoulda, everything. But it's okay to just be enough. That's it. Like, I'm enough today, and that's okay. So I have this word spelled out here with this amazing letters. They come connected, so I cut all of these apart so I can make my own words. So I put out the word enough. And if I were to just stamp this on black, it would come out a lot, but I want to add a little more texture because that's what I do. So I'm going to add that stamp here. I'm going to stamp enough right here in this dark Squid Ink purple. Okay, so that's going to pop that title out. I might use these little strings. So as I was talking, I was pulling all of the strings. So I was making the texture a little bit. So I'm going to stamp it there. I'm also going to use this cheesecloth. So behind my title, and I think I'm going to put it here. I'm a bottom corner type of a title person. You'll notice that in my scrapbook pages, a lot of my journal pages. I don't ever center anything, just because I'm not centered myself. So I usually am a bottom right, bottom left. So this one I want kind of a bottom right. I'm gonna say enough, and then I'm gonna put like I am enough. Yeah, so that's my title. So if I were to take the ink, so this is fabric, this is a canvas fabric. If I were to ink this up and try to stamp on here, it won't stamp, right? Because the ink is dye ink. It's gonna have a hard time dyeing into your paper or your canvas. So I'm going to use paint, okay? Because I have this amazing acrylic paint. The one thing about this, if you use paint on your red stamps, you wanna wipe it off right away. So you wanna wash it off, because if that acrylic paint gets stuck in there, then it kind of jacks up your paint. So I'm going to take, so this paint is already dry-ish on my craft mat. I'm just gonna take a little bit with my brayer. Okay, so I have that same dark paint. I'm going to adhere it here, or not adhere it. I'm going to add it to my craft mat, but I'm also going to use this because there's other pages in my art journal that are behind here, and I kind of want to get a really strong background here. You can do it without having it on your art journal, but I'm just going to do it this way. So I'm going to take a layer of paint, and I'm going to take my brayer and add the paint to the top of my stamp. So this is PaperArtsy rubber stamps. They do this very well. If you tried to do this, you can do it with clear stamps as well. It doesn't stick as well because the rubber stamp's kind of a bigger platform. So here's enough. I'm going to stamp it. Right to. Now, is it going to create a perfect image? Probably not. But it's sketchy anyway, right? The letters are sketchy. I'm not sketchy. Those letters are sketchy. But I'm gonna press it down, and I'm not gonna rock it. I'm just gonna let that paint kind of absorb into the canvas a little bit. Give it some time, and then voila. Ooh, ah. Okay, so make sure you wipe that off. Now I have some paint left, and I did not use this color in my background. So I wanna make sure I tie together the color, okay? So I'm adding on top of that. So did you see how much that made it pop? Okay, just a little bit, not a lot, but now it kind of blends with that dark purple, okay? So it makes that pop. So this is the words too big here. I'm going to cut this right here. Go around the word. It doesn't matter that it's if it's a straight line or not. I might use those. Save your fabrics, right? Just save your fabrics because you may use them. So here, I'm just gonna make, if I had a straight edge on there, it'd look kind of weird. So I am roughing up the edges a little bit. Okay, I might glue that down. That's kind of cool. I have some extra over here. Okay, so there's my part of my art journal page. Look, so this is going to go behind all of this mess. Okay, now it's not going to be a highlighted, like you're going to open that art journal. I'm gonna glue it down on there, but I'm not done yet. Okay, so you could be done. That's what you want to do. That's enough. You can be done. That's enough. But it's not really, because I want to add some of this. So what I want to do is add a frame, and I want to kind of add, like my title is going here, so I want to add some of that texture to really bring out that that's my title page. Okay, so trust me, it's going to look really cool. So I want to use this. I love this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to like because that's where my enough is gonna be there. So this, now I'm gonna do it in, I could do it in brown if you wanted kind of a muted, but I'm okay using my Archival ink. Okay, so because this is gonna be like a bam poppy thing. So I'm gonna take my ink pad, black Archival ink. You can use like a Claire ink if you wanted to. I just like the black Archival. And I'm keeping this staycation thing behind it to help me stamp. And I'm gonna hang it off the page a little bit. Okay. And do it again. Scooch that over. Now I'm not gonna line it up because I'm not. You can if you want. So you can use any background stamp. So any line, you can draw a line with it. You can, I just really love this stamp. So, okay. Voila, and I got some on my mat. So this is Archival ink. So if you notice, I did not wipe it off before, and now it's permanent. It dried permanent on there, so you want to wipe it off. I don't care that it's there. Okay, so the other thing about rubber stamps and archival ink has oil in it. So oil doesn't mix with water. So if you did what I just did with my baby wipe and try to wipe it off, it's not gonna wipe it off. So I use a cloth that I have. This is a well-loved and well-used cloth, but it's just like a kitchen towel type of thing. And then I use that to wipe off on the stamps. It's not gonna be perfectly clean. I'm sure you could use a scrubber stamp thing, but that's what I use. That's a tip from my friend Tim Holtz as well. Okay. So there is that frame. So again, this is going to go here somehow, all right? Well, then he has this other little tiny one. Look at this little tiny one that kind of matches this too. I want a frame that goes around here, okay? So I kind of want to add, because it matches a little bit, I'm gonna add a frame. So now I'm just adding background. So I'm just gonna go around, add a little bit here. It's okay that it overlaps, but it's going to pretty much frame my picture. Okay. And notice I'm not really being careful about the straightness of it, because we're all a little crooked in our lives. Okay, now I want to hang, I kind of want to hang this off a little bit, like that. Okay. And then don't forget the top. So this piece of paper, probably just use this piece of paper, because I might want to, oop. Well now, God dang it. Pay attention. Okay, do it again. Okay, so now I'm framing that picture a little bit. But now, okay, let's spot right there. Okay, so I framed it. Again, this is still going to go here. Okay, but now it like looks all the same. So I need to add some circles because it's one pattern. So I love, so like this one, wait, hang on, I got two circles. Ooh, okay, maybe I'm gonna use this one. I'm gonna take both of those off, and I'm gonna do this in the, I'm gonna do it in a gray and see what that looks like. I'm gonna just do one at a time. So this is gonna be a little subtler, a little more subtle, whatever grammatically correct. But now I'm just gonna add, just behind the scenes, I'm adding these little circles, okay? So it's going to take that straight line away. And it's really subtle. And you can use any color you want. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep it here. And what else? Let's do the little stamp. yellow stamp because we want to add some. Okay, even though, remember my frame is going to go there, but I'm just going to need something else up her. Okay, a little texture. Oop, don't use the baby wipe, use the rag. Follow your own rules, Tanya. All right, so let's come in with, let's do this one. I'm gonna do this one right here. And I'm going to do the trick, like second generation stamping. So I'm gonna put, now if I just stamp this on, it's gonna be really dark and black, but if I did on a piece of paper and then off again, it creates a gray, but it's darker than this gray. So I wanted kind of that hint of gray. Ooh, shades of gray. 51 shades of gray. How many shades of gray were there? Old book.
350. There was 50 shades.
50 shades of gray. Okay, so I'm just adding this background. And I have this under here, I don't know why. I don't really need to. Okay, so that's adding more texture. Not really adding it to all of it. Okay, I feel like I need some more circles, So I'm gonna do this one. I'm gonna do brown. And so again, I'm gonna cluster around, so my thing is gonna go here, right? And I need to type like I am enough. Not type it, I'm gonna stamp it. So my stamping is gonna kind of be around there, cluster around there. So, but you also wanna make it consistent. So I'm gonna put some in the corner, but let's just do this. And notice I'm not, like I'm letting it hang off a little bit, and I'm not, right? Like you're drawing it still a little bit, but okay. Okay, so I like it a lot. All right, there's my stamping. Going to do this, but before I do that, what I want to do is do a little bit of the pen work. So you will hear me say over and over again, the art is in the pen work. This could be enough. It could be enough, but it's not enough for me. So I'm gonna go in and add my own little, so this is that Fude ball pen. I'm gonna add my own little kind of frame, scribble frame here. I'm going to add, I'm gonna add this. Going to, so this again is going here. I probably should stamp. Let's stamp the I am. How about that? If I found, oh, it's right here. So I am, oops, it's gonna go I am right enough. Okay, so again, I'm going to put this behind here. A little bit of ink. A little bit of paint. Paint, not ink. Paint, paint, paint. You could also like take your stamp and put it into the thing. I think that you have a little more control over it if you kind of roller on it and you don't get it smushed into those, like the lines and stuff, because it's a flat surface. You could try it either way. Some paints work differently than others. So right there. And because it's not a very dark color, we're going to draw around it. Okay, so this mess, so I'm just gonna wait a minute for that to dry, but this mess is going to go here. Okay, I have my white pen, so I'm gonna highlight this as well. So some of you do not like this white pen because if your paint is not 100% dry, which this paint is pretty dry, it's not 100% dry, but this pen works better when your paint is like really dry. So it's doing a little bit. You can also use a jelly roll pen or an acrylic paint pen. So let's see, I'm gonna do this. Add. And I know this is gonna get covered up in the, some of it will get covered up with the cheesecloth, but I'm not gonna slather it down and you might be able to see in between. So for consistency, I like to do kind of the same thing throughout here. Maybe some sketches here. Sketching. I did the circle there. I did the circle there. Circle. Okay. All right. So now I want to take my black pen. I'm going to sketch, and I don't want it to be right. If I just drew straight lines, then it would kind of take away from it. So I'm essentially drawing my own I am. It's not dry, but I'm going to make it sketchy. Okay, so I'm going to take my thick gel medium, and I may not be done with the sketching yet, but I'm just gonna, like, this is just gonna go on here, like right there. So I'm just gonna take some of this thick gel medium and put it on there. Look, easy peasy. Then I have an apron on. I didn't just wipe that on my shirt. So then I'm going to do the same. Ooh, maybe I had enough that it could stick. I had enough. here. There we go. I am enough. Okay. So let's see. What else? I have these little circles I didn't. I'm not gonna play too much because what else do I need? What else? I feel like I need some scribbles there. So there's that circles that we did before. You can kind of see them. You can see that the other circles, you can see a shadow of that. Okay, there's a little bit of texture here. And there you go. Art journal page. I'm gonna sign it. Today is what day?
Sunday, March 20th.
March 21st. So I like to sign my art. One, because if I ever become famous, you guys are gonna want signed pieces. Not really. Because I like to go through my art journal, and I may remember when I did it, but it may be extra. You can also add journaling. So if I wanted to go back in and write down like what I was feeling today, that I'm enough, but there we go. What do you think? So we're done. So like and subscribe to my channel. You can hit the little bell and it will notify you when I have a new video out. Well, thank you so much. Remember, you are enough. Find the time to make that art, to be creative, time for you, because you are enough and you are important. All right, thank you so much. Have a fabulous day. See you next time.